Hi, friends. Yes, it's me, and I'm back, and I'm so excited to be back. I haven't seen this smile in a long time, and neither have you. The last few posts were pretty heavy, and sorry about it. But yeah, I'm feeling much better, and it's amazing what a year can do because exactly 1 year ago, I was changing my mood all the way around. And yeah, like literally 1 year ago, I was in Morocco traveling around for 3 weeks, and that was the beginning of my 2019. And boy, did it change my life. I mean, not only was it a magical, wonderful experience that I really encourage all of you to see for yourself. If you have a chance, go to Morocco. It's absolutely gorgeous. Ugh, really. I mean, I could go on for days, and if I don't stop myself, I will. But the best part also was that I went with a complete stranger. Yeah, I know. But the best part is, it was wonderful. Oh, to this day, he's like one of my favorite friends. He's literally the only person I've ever traveled with, and yeah, I could say, even though I'm a solo kind of girl, he could be a travel buddy. I mean, we got along so well, and the way that we met was so serendipitous and so beautiful that it was kind of destined to work. So, I mean, I was visiting a friend in Italy, um, let's say in September, and my flight got canceled, so I ended up having to get a hotel or a hostel for a few days. And so I said, well, if my flight's canceled, I might as well make another small vacay. And I ended up getting a hostel near the airport. Um, and there's a small city called Zarzuga outside of Rome. It's like a 45-minute train ride outside of Rome. And I stayed in this hostel called Wiki Hostel. I'll put a link to the actual place. If you ever get a chance, please do yourself a favor. It was amazing. Amazing. I did not want to leave when I had to go, and best part is they sold CBD right out in the open, and I bought way too much. And which is how I ended up meeting my travel buddy. Because yeah, I was completely antisocial the whole, I think, 3 days that I was there, just sitting in the beautiful coves. They had hammocks and these beautiful banana leaf trees, and there was a pool. And Italy is fairly warm year round, so yeah, it was really really lovely. But before I like 3 hours before my flight, I realized, oh no, I can't take this with me. So I found this kid who I'd seen the night before at the hostel. They had a pizza party. A pizza party. And yeah, I'd seen him, I guess, the night before too, talking to people, and he was smoking. So it was a couple hours before my flight, and so I was just like, hey kid, I saw you smoking. I got some extra CBD. I can't take it with me. Do you want it? And him, being Canadian, says, uh, oi, I can't take it from you, but I can share it with you. And I was just like, share it? And he's like, yeah, let's just smoke it together. And I was like, okay. So we just sat, and for the next couple hours, we just chatted, and after 3 hours, I was like, okay, you're pretty cool, but I'm being very antisocial right now, so forgive me for not wanting to like exchange, life info. Here's my Facebook if you want, but whatever. And this was in September, and I think it was not until November that we actually talked to each other again, because I'd posted that I wanted to go to Morocco. And he had been traveling around Europe for 9 months and was like, oh my God, this is right around the time I have to go back home. And I was wondering, like, would you want to go with me? Because I wanted to go for a couple weeks and travel around, and the timing fits, and And the why not? And so I said, I mean, I guess so. But if you act crazy or do anything weird, I got my own passport and I'm out of here. Alright? So don't get crazy. We can go, but don't get crazy. And so, yeah, this was like middle of November. And it wasn't until, I guess, the middle of December that we actually had our first, like, face to, like, face to screen face conversation. I don't even think it was screen face. I think we just called. Yeah. And we talked on the phone / internet phone. I don't know what you kids call it these days, but yeah. And yeah, that was the first, mid-December was the first time we talked live, to try to develop a plan for what we want to do. At that time, I was staying at the same friend's house in Italy, but this time he was gone and let me stay at his house. So I was, honey, I was going through it. This is the point. My friend who lives in Italy, he lives up in the mountains, right? In the mountains. And nobody goes to the mountains unless you are going through it. And I was. The only electronic devices he had in his house were the stereo, and a hand mixer, like the thing you make for soup or whatever. Those are the only two electronical anythings he had in his house. So I was washing my clothes by hand. I was boiling all the waters that I needed to do stuff with. I even made my own pasta and cut it by hand. Honey, I was making my own vinegars. I was going to the farm / garden to get my veggies and my eggs. I was living my best life, even though I was living my worst life. So this is what I did to try to get out of my funk. You know, I went to visit stay at my friend's house because he was gone. So while I was there, me and, my future travel buddy, let's call him T, he was like, hey, let's go, let's do this thing. Are we going to buy tickets or what? And we ended up finding tickets for €35, which is equivalent to like $45 from Rome to Morocco. And it's funny because we met right outside of Rome and all this stuff. So it was really strange. Everything was really lining up. And yeah, like these 3 hours at the hostel and these few hours on the phone, that was the only time we'd actually talked to each other before we decided, okay, let's go. We bought our tickets and yeah, we set out on a 3-week adventure across the terrains of Morocco. We started in Rabat and met a beautiful man who was our Airbnb host, who turned out to be one of our very dear friends now. He showed us all around the city of Rabat, and we ended up going to Tangier, where he met us too, and showed us around there, and that was really cool. We went to, in Tangier, I have to tell you, Tangier, I almost moved there. Like, you're overlooking the water, you can see Spain. If you read on a nice cloudy day, you can see Gibraltar. And it's just like, we were sitting at this cafe that was like 7 layers on the side of a mountain overlooking the ocean, where all you do is smoke and drink mint tea. Honey, can you say heaven? And it was really funny. That was the first place that I really felt connected to. And later on, it turned out that was like, that used to be the underground, like, Sin City. And I was like, oh, that makes sense. Yes. So after Tangier, we ended up going to Chefchaouen, which was up in the mountains where like all the hash is grown, but also like the beautiful herbs and the bath salts and all the natural things. Then we went down to the desert, or over to the desert, I should say. And honey, I'm just gonna say, I met Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, and she is cray cray. Love her, but wow. I was walking through the Orion Belt. It was a beautiful experience. We ended up going down to Essaouira, which is where it was said that Jimi Hendrix wrote Castles in the Sands. I think that was the one. But I mean, lots of old hippie musicians were there, and they were really inspired to make music there. And once going there, we could see why. It was on the coast. It was gorgeous, and yeah, I think I even wrote a song, honey. And then we ended up flying. Our last stop was in Marrakesh, which a bit busy for me, but I had fun though. It was funny. I got it. I mean, would I go back? But if you like wild, like city life, then that's a really nice place. And I just want to touch on the point that like a lot of people are like, ew, Morocco, or ew, Africa. Like, first of all, ew, you. But secondly, a lot of people ask me, how was it, to be a woman in a Muslim country, especially in Morocco, like blah, blah, blah. And I can tell you, I guess it's probably because I'm brown. So if non-melanated ladies, I don't think it's just going to apply to you. But for me, I felt like either invisible or a goddess, or like an invisible goddess that only special people could see. They really treated me very respectfully, but they weren't like going out of their way to like hold doors or something. They were just like, I see you. And I was like, I see you too. And it was really beautiful. I mean, I guess because like they thought I was Moroccan. At the time, my hair was very curly. Now I got locks because, honey, I couldn't be bothered. I think, yeah, actually on this trip, I twisted my hair for the first time and never brush it again. And this is the results. It's locked now. It's locked. But I digress. But yeah, it was absolutely fine. And I was going to the cafes where it was like only men, and I was sitting there and smoking with them and drinking tea with them, and no, they never said anything to me, but they also didn't kick me out. So I mean, for my melanated people, for my melanated ladies, yeah, go. It's beautiful. I mean, they will walk up to you and start speaking Arabic or French, so if you don't know either one of them, like me, it's fine, it's cool. Just be like, I don't know. I mean, they will try to sell you something, but let's be honest, that's kind of why we're there, to see the culture and buy some really cheap, beautiful stuff. Is I'm so glad I only brought a carry-on and I didn't have space to buy stuff, because, honey. So, yeah, I mean, I wanted to tell this story for several reasons. One, because it's my anniversary of Morocco, and I found myself looking through old pictures, and I came across these pictures, and I was like, oh, that's right. That was exactly a year ago. It was so lovely. That was the beginning of this new found me that you're seeing. Hi. But also to encourage you, I mean, I know it's weird, but traveling with a stranger is not as bad as you think. Like, me and this kid, T, I mean, of course we had issues because, one, he's not melanated necessarily. But two, it was almost like being married. We had to deal with like real life issues in real time, and we had to be careful of each other's feelings, especially one, because we don't know each other. But two, we don't want to have a bad time. So we had to get over our attitudes very quickly. We had to talk about things. And I think it's a really beautiful experience to step outside of your comfort zone, to be with somebody who you wouldn't necessarily choose, because in the end, you never know. I mean, strangers are just friends we haven't met yet. So I just wanted to give you this really nice encouragement. It's a new year. It's a fresh start. I'm not saying go outside and meet the first person at the grocery store and say, hey, let's go somewhere. I mean, maybe though. I'm just saying now is a good time to reflect on the things that you've done in the past, see what you can do differently, see the things that you actually loved, and try to repeat that or recreate it in a new way, in a new light, Because if it wasn't for that trip last year, I wouldn't be making this post right now. I wouldn't be smiling as much as I am. I wouldn't be shining and glowing because that argan soap, honey. Whew, that argan oil. Yes. also. But just the pure joy of being there and just having a great time. And I just wanted to share that little story with you, and hope you get something. So this is Borderline Brown Girl signing out. Meet me.